You're going to hear the remarkable story of a teenager from not far from where I live, East Huntsville, who had to relearn how to walk not once but twice. Zach Arge was just 15 years old when he was told that he needed surgery and chemotherapy after tumours were found on his brain and on his spinal cord. Well, now, 18 months on from all of that taking place, Zach is determined to use his own experiences to help others. Zach, I'm very pleased to say, is with us now, and his mum, Helena, is also here in the studio with me. Zach, welcome, first of all. Thanks for joining us. I'm so pleased to hear how things have gone for you. Sounds like it's been a tough 18 months, really, and especially when it was all going on. How are you now?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Just getting by, I guess.
Good. I'm very pleased to hear it. Tell us about that first moment when you found out that something wasn't right. Were you showing symptoms already? Did you know that something didn't feel right?
Yeah, I think I was like vomiting at night only, so I'd do stuff in the day, and then when it came around night time, I'd always be vomiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my mum, I think I've got to go to the hospital because it just didn't seem normal at all.
Mm. Well, that seems like a good point to bring in your mum who's here. What's that like when your 15-year-old tells you that they think they're quite ill?
Yeah, he had a whole week of just being fine during the day, so cycling to his friends, going to the gym, and it was always in the evenings or early mornings that he'd be vomiting, having really bad headaches. So gave it a few days. We thought it was a bug, or there'd been quite a few things going around at the time. And then when he said, no, it's too much, I don't think this is right. I knew in the back of my mind that vomiting and headaches could be something to do with the brain, because my granddad passed away of a brain tumour, so I kind of knew that could be the worst case scenario. So we rang 111, told us to go to Musgrove, and then they found a growth. So it's just, very vague at first. A growth could be anything. But yeah, Zach it was just a shock. The shock.
How did you feel, Zach? Because you're so young, you're still only 16, aren't you now? So how does it feel when you're told something as serious as that?
I was in utter shock, but almost wasn't really old enough to understand either. So just like, it's weird. Thinking about it now, I didn't think much of it, but when being told like what it is, I obviously jumped to conclusions and felt really worried.
I'm sure you did, yeah. I remember when I was sort of your age, 15, 16, you sort of feel a bit invincible, actually. You do stuff and you don't really think of it. I did stuff when I was about 15, 16, I wouldn't dream of doing now. But that, I guess, kind of stops that for you, because suddenly you feel like, I guess you have to come to terms a bit with the fact that this is potentially really quite serious. Was there ever a moment where you weren't sure if you were going to make it through?
Yeah, I could definitely say there were a few moments, but I thought let's see it out, I guess, not jump to conclusions.
Helena, what's that like for having such a young boy who's otherwise fit and healthy and probably, as you said, going to the gym, riding his bike, doing stuff 15-year-olds should be doing, to then be coming to terms with his own mortality like that must be really shocking.
Yeah, it was just shocking because he was fine, and that age where you start going out and meeting up with friends, going to the gym and playing football, and perfectly healthy, to we don't know, and obviously a brain tumour, it could be any kind of brain tumour, and yeah, so we just try to take it a day at a time and not rush to conclusions or not panic. So we just try to take it one day at a time. I think the scary part was the operation and knowing all the risks involved, and they have to tell us that he might not speak again, might not breathe on his own, he might need a machine, he might not walk. And you were determined to walk, and you were like, no, I'm walking, I need to be out of the hospital. It's really scary.
Right, yeah, I imagine so. Zach, so tell me about the operation then, which your mum just mentioned there. So was that removing it from your brain? I know it's on your spinal cord as well. Was it more than one place?
I think they removed it off my spinal cord,
right,
because there was one there. But I just remember my mum telling me, first thing you do when you wake up, check your throat, so breathe, because that was quite a worry. Wow. And that's the first thing I did.
Well, that's a good first place. It's a good starting point, isn't it, breathing? Yeah. Then you work up everything else from there. Yeah, good advice, Mum, I think, from that point. So you were determined to walk again. So what is that like when your legs aren't responding as you're expecting them to? Because we all take it for granted, I think, don't we? People who can walk.
Yeah.
So what's that like when you're trying to learn again?
It's a bit of an odd feeling. It's like they feel numb. It's like almost like you'd imagine. It's like a cloud feeling. Just you're moving it. You're trying to like move it, but there's nothing happening. No response. And if you are moving it, you're thinking your legs in different places.
Because your brain assumes it must be somewhere.
Yeah.
But your legs aren't responding.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's such a weird.
Gosh, that is weird
feeling.
Yeah. So then obviously you've walked in here today, which is great to see. So how long did that take you? And are you back to what you'd say is your normal walking like you were beforehand?
I think took around 2 weeks to get out of the hospital.
I think 2 weeks to get out of hospital, so walking with a frame. You hated the frame, so you wanted crutches. I wasn't confident you were stable on those straight away, but Zach was adamant that, no, I'm going to use the crutches.
Frame's not very cool.
No, it's not.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So crutches slightly better, but even then, if you can get rid of those, even better. So how long were you on crutches for?
Oh, quite a while. Because then, so 2 weeks, and I think we were out of hospital 2 or 3 weeks after the operation, which could have been 3 months. So we were glad that happened quite quickly. Yeah. And then starting chemotherapy, one of the drugs affects the nerves. So starting chemotherapy, he was still on crutches and still having these dizzy spells and losing his balance. And then on top of that, then the chemotherapy affecting his nerves, and you couldn't feel your feet, could you, at one point?
No.
So his walk changed again. You couldn't really control your feet and legs properly.
God, talk about hitting someone when they're already down like that. I mean, obviously it was all for the benefit in the long run, but that must have been really tough for you. So what's it like? Are you able to sort of run and walk and ride your bike and stuff, or are you still getting to grips with all of those things?
Yeah, I'm good with walking. Maybe going downstairs and upstairs without being able to hold anything. I'll go into like assembly and they got a few steps and I'll just hold on to one of my friends and be like, yeah, just let me get up these stairs.
Mates, they're there for you, and they're all happy to have that. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good.
I'm definitely riding my bike. Rode, I think, 14 miles the other day.
Brilliant.
To play football, and I'm running sort of back to normal. So I'm getting there one step at a time.
Football must have felt a long way off playing football when your legs aren't responding to what you want. So
not very good, but I don't think I was.
I'm not very good. I've been playing football for a while. You're going to be a lot better than me, I think, Zach, by the sounds of it. So now you're the face of a new fundraising campaign. So this is exciting. How did this all come about?
Got no idea, to be honest. It happened
It's for cancer research, is that right?
Yeah, it happened all really quickly.
Yeah. So tell us when we'll be able to see you, and where was your face going to appear?
I think in the cancer research shops on the posters.
And this is nationwide. This is not just sort of in East Huntsman area. Yeah. We're talking here throughout the whole country.
Yeah, I still haven't got that in my head yet.
Wow.
Quite.
So we could walk into a cancer research charity shop in, say, the north of England, and there's Zach looking back at us. You're going to have to get a picture, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, where's your local one? I can't remember.
Bridgewater.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's not one in Burnham, is there? So Bridgewater, there is one, isn't there? So you're going to have to get a picture of you next to your big picture. Have you seen it? Is it up yet?
No, we haven't.
It is up.
Is it?
Yeah, it is up. I saw it for the first time on Sunday, but Zach went to the cinema. Yeah, it is up. And it was very strange seeing him on the...
Is it sort of life size or bigger than life size?
No, it's like quite like a big poster.
Big poster with your son's face on it. What's that like? Having been through everything with him over the last year and a half, what's it like now seeing him sort of the face of the good news? This is what can happen from these horrible diagnoses that, Zach proves that there's good news at the end of that.
I was just really emotional. I took a picture of it discreetly, but just really emotional, and seeing how... just remembering, we tend to forget all the really low moments, and often Zach brushes it off. He's like, it's nothing special. I haven't done anything special. And I just remind him, do you remember the time where you tried to ride your bike and you were crying because you couldn't feel your toes, you couldn't control your legs? Or remember all the times where you were led in bed, in our bed for days after treatment because you were so poorly? I said, remember all that. You've gotten through all that.
Yeah.
And that photo in particular with the cat, it was, I think, one of the first weekends out where we were back home. So it was a special moment.
With the cat? The cat's in the photo as well?
Yeah, the
right.
photos.
I haven't seen it. Right, okay.
Yeah, the photos, Zach and our cat Ralph. And when you were in hospital, Zach would constantly ask us for Ralph, because Ralph sleeps in his bed next to his head. And he's kind of used to hearing him purr to fall asleep. So you were desperate to go home and see Ralph. So it's just a nice.
And as a mum, did that grate a little bit that Ralph was top of his list as opposed to the rest of the family?
No, I think he'd had enough of seeing me.
Enough.
We were in hospital together the whole time, so I think he'd had enough of seeing me.
Fair enough. So there's a picture of you and Ralph together. Tell us about Ralph. What's he like?
Yeah, he's really talkative.
Yeah, he's a chatty cat.
He's cuddly. Kind of just lets me do whatever with him, to be honest. And he won't really try and move.
Oh, lovely. So the picture was, did he behave himself? Did he have to go to a studio, or is it taken at your home, the picture?
It was a photo that I took.
Oh, you took the photo, you sent it to them? Oh,
no,
lovely.
it was a photo we took ages ago. So, yeah.
Great. Oh, how lovely. Well, I can't wait to see it. We've actually heard from Cancer Research UK about this. We spoke to them about this all happening. And it was Dr. Laura Danielson. She's the strategic lead for children and young people's cancer at the charity. Here's what she would like to say to you, Zach.
I would just like to say a huge, huge thank you to Zach and Helena and the family for being part of this campaign, for sharing your story, for raising hope and being inspirational for everybody. And we will keep funding the research that will keep bringing the hope to all children and young people with cancer.
How do you feel hearing that, Zach, that this is quite a senior person within Cancer Research saying thank you to you?
Yeah, can't think of anything right now. I'm just a bit shocked.
Oh, well, it's great to meet you. All the best for the future. This is something you can, as your mum said, I think it's really important you say, remember those low points. But now you've got all of that to move on from, and that's what we'll look back on and say, yeah, that was a period of my life, but things have moved, things have improved since then. So, best of luck to you. And thanks so much for coming in. And enjoy going to see your picture.
Yeah, I will.
Up and down the country. You need to get pictures from everyone, wherever your family is based around the UK, taking pictures of this photo. Zach, it's great to meet you. Helena, thank you so much for coming in as well. Really lovely to meet you. That's Zach Arget and his mum, Helena, there from East Huntsville, talking about Zach's journey to recovery after he was diagnosed with tumours on his brain and on his spinal cord, aged just 15 years old. It's BBC Radio Somerset. Good morning.